Hello, Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk with Chris Godinez on here every Sunday at noon on YouTube. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. If you feel you need a therapist, please go to Google, type in therapy, your city, Psychology Today will come up, click on that. It will have all of the therapists in your area. Also, the views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other damn therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka, done. Okay, so Merry Christmas, everybody. So we are coming towards the end of the year, and there's a bunch of questions I want to clear out. If you have a question, guys, pretty please, to make it easier for me, if you could type the word question in all caps and then write your question. That way I know whether it's you guys just talking to each other or whether it is something you want me to answer. So that would be cool and groovy. All right, couple of things I want to get out of the way. On Eventbrite, we have the California dates up. So far, we have two of them. We have San Diego and Santa Monica. I'm hoping to get Santa Barbara and San Francisco up. If we don't, probably just Santa Barbara because I'm trying to figure out the logistics of driving. So anyway, there that is. Merry Christmas, everybody. And what else was I going to tell you? Okay, so Eventbrite, that is up. If you are interested in purchasing these lovely 20-ounce coffee mugs, they are available for sale on eBay. Also, if you are interested in purchasing, hold on. My books, they are also available on Amazon, and they are available on Kindle, and they are available on Audible. So there you go. There is that. Hey, UK. Also, I wanted to tell you about my friend, Jennifer Berta Morgan. Okay. I'm sorry. I couldn't remember her middle name. Jennifer is a friend of mine. I graduated with her from University of Phoenix. She wrote this wonderful, wonderful book. It is fantastic. It's called The River of Life, and it's about acceptance therapy. And it's her illustrations and her story and her thing. She's just amaze balls. I love her. I love her work. I love her drawings. This would be a great book for basically anybody. It would be good for kids. It would be good for teens. It would be good for adults. It's a really, really good book. So it's called The River of Life. It's by J. Berta Morgan. I'm unsure where to get it because she sent me my own copy because she loves me and I love her and she's awesome. So anyway, this is a great book. So there that is. Hello, Oslo. Oh, wow. Hello, Oslo. I've got a host family in Oslo. That's cool. Well, not technically in Oslo. They're outside of Oslo. But anyway, hi. South Dakota. Hello. Hungary. Hi. That's awesome. Merry Christmas, everybody. So today, let's talk about making amends because we're at the end of the year. And this is when people start getting nostalgic. And this is when they start thinking, okay, let's make some amends, fresh start, the whole thing. I'm out of the abusive relationship. Let's move on. Okay, hold your questions for just a second because I want to get the amends stuff out of the way. And then we're going to dive into the questions. So Jennifer, if I don't answer that question, can you please okay, hold on. I'm going to answer it. I'm sorry. It's like, ooh, I can't help myself. So yes, assessments are useful and helpful for determining narcissists. It is. Well, especially if they're antisocial because they can't hide it. They They think they can. But if they're with a really good forensics forensic psychologist, forensic psychiatrist, they are going to ask the right questions and they definitely will get the diagnosis that they so richly deserve. So oftentimes, really quickly, and then I'm going to go back to amends. Oftentimes it backfires on abusers. They think that if they get a psych eval, they can prove to the world that they're not the crazy ones and the spouse is really the crazy ones. And what ends up happening though is 9 times out of 10, when you get a really good psychiatric evaluation from somebody who's a forensic psychologist or forensic psychiatrist, they end up with an antisocial diagnosis along with multiple other personality disorders. And then they demand that be thrown out in the court, not use it because it backfired on them. So yes, it can be very good, but you have to make sure you get with a good one. So you want to have an attorney who knows his mental health stuff. So this is why I love my guy here in Mesa, Brent Bryson. He's amaze balls because he understands who to use, who not to use, who to fight on, which judges are good, the whole thing. You need an attorney who knows mental health issues, especially abuse, inside and out. So you want to interview them like crazy. And yes, psych evals can be very useful in showing that parent is abusive. So yeah. Okay, back to the topic. Sorry. Hold your questions for just a second. Okay. So I wanted to talk about amends because we're coming to the end of the year and we're coming up on New Year's, and next week, people are going to be making all sorts of New Year's resolutions and all that sort of stuff. Merry Christmas, Berlin. Oh my God. It's awesome. I wanted to talk about when it is safe and when it is not safe to make amends. So let me read this to you. I'm going to leave out anything that can identify this person because I don't want to be, outing them. So I need help making amends. I have been working on my recovery for the past year, enlarged by the guidance and knowledge of your YouTube podcast. Would you be willing to do a podcast focusing on the how-to of amends, perhaps creating a step-by-step guide for survivors that have deeply damaged relationships of our close family and friends while in our abusive relationship? Okay, I'm going to answer that part first. Okay, so amends. If you want a step-by-step guide, honest to God, and I kid you the fuck not, the AA Big Book, the 12 steps, honest to God. Because what we do in AA is you take a fierce moral inventory, like ruthless, like who have I harmed? Who have I hurt? How has my addiction harmed other people? Because remember, we are addicted to the abuser because of the intermittent positive rewards, okay? So we are as addicted to them as anyone is to any fucking drug. Swear to God. So, all right. So in AA, you take a fierce moral inventory, like a brutally honest, who have I hurt? Who have I harmed? Who do I need to make amends to? And then you write out the list, okay? And then what you do is you go through and you figure out if contacting that person is going to harm them further. If so, you do not do it, okay? If it's going to put them in danger, if it's going to, be upsetting and horrible and awful and terrible, you don't do it. But here's the thing. You don't avoid it just because you think they might be mad at you, okay? The only time you avoid making an amends is when it's going to be dangerous to them or to you. So what I mean by that is oftentimes flying monkeys. Let's talk about flying monkeys. So members of our family can be flying monkeys. They will believe the bullshit that the abuser spews out, and they will side with the abuser. And we will have abandoned family members, obviously, because of what the abuser is doing, or maybe they've sided with the abuser, or maybe we've abandoned them because the abuser told us to. So remember, the abuse is all encompassing. So what abusers do in a nutshell is they turn family against the target, and they turn the target against the family, and they make up lies and they exaggerate things and they, do all sorts of stuff. And so we start pushing away family members and friends who see the abuser for what they are, because the abuser does not want us to see it. So they start demeaning, discrediting, devaluing, putting down, harming the family members, and demand that we do the same. And then they demand that we not have contact with them. So then when we come out of an abusive relationship, now we've got all these family members that we have shoved away, and we have to decide, okay, are they flying monkeys or not? If they're not, then you go ahead and you make amends with them. Now, here's the other thing. So part of recovery, part of healing is really working on you first and foremost. So before you start making amends to other people, y'all got to make amends to yourself. And that means you make amends by forgiving yourself, having compassion for yourself, understanding that you could not know what you did not know, but now that you know it, now you can do something about it. So instead of sitting there, beating yourself up and going, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa, you got to forgive yourself first. You got to work on your self-esteem first. You got to work on your boundaries first. Then you make an amends list. Then you do that. And then you decide, okay, let me educate the family. Let me explain to them what's going on. Let me hand out books like The Object of My Affection is in My Reflection, Coping with a Narcissist by Raquel Lerner, Stop Walking on Eggshells by Randy Krieger, both the book and the workbook, Who's Pulling Your Strings by Harriet Breaker, The Diseased Pleased by Harriet Breaker. You hand out these books and you go, this is what I was going through. This is how I was living. Now, the ones who are not flying monkeys are going to read those books and they're going to go, oh my God, I had no idea. And then you go, yeah, no, you didn't, because I didn't and you didn't, and let me educate you. And then you educate them to it. Now, if after that, they continue to have contact with your abuser and are siding with the abuser and are spreading, what you're doing back to the abuser, then you go, well, you have shown me who you are. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Okay. So with making amends, you want to make a list of the people that you want to make amends to. And you don't not make amends just because you're afraid of what they're going to do. So here's the deal. When we make an amends, it is us taking responsibility for our actions. So for example, If you have shoved family and friends away in order to appease the abuser, and you have said hurtful things or harmful things or, flat out lying, then you have to go to that person and go, you know what? I lied. I harmed you. I take responsibility for it. I did it to appease my abuser. Here's what I was up against. Here's this great book to help you understand. I hope you can forgive me. I am truly sorry I hurt you. And then you know what? It never fucking happens again. Because a narcissistic abuse is when they go, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. And then the abuse happens over and over and over again. With an amends, it is a heartfelt taking personal responsibility for what we have done. So when we have shoved family and friends away, when we have done the smear campaign on them on behalf of our abuser, when we have hurt them, that's when we make amends to them, okay? And then after that, we figure out if they're flying monkeys or not, okay? Because this is not about, how do I explain this? It's not about whether they forgive us or not. It's not, guys. Making amends is about self-esteem, and it's about boundaries, and it's about owning what we have done on behalf of our abuser. So we oftentimes take abuse by proxy. We abuse by proxy. We just abuse by proxy on behalf of our abuser because we're trying to appease them, because we have codependency, because we are addicted to their behavior, the intermittent positive rewards. So yeah, you make a list of who you feel you need to make amends to. Now, they may look at you and go fuck yourself, and in which case you go, okay, I'm really sorry. I just wanted you to know. And then you turn around, you walk out. Okay, amends are best done in person. You can do them over the phone. I don't like doing that. You can do them in a letter. Again, I am much more of a face-to-face kind of person. I don't like letters. I do like letters, but I don't like, when something like that is that serious, that needs to be face-to-face. It really does. If you have to do a letter, do a letter. I hate doing it on the phone because, again, you're missing 90% of the communication, which is visual. You're not seeing the person's face. You're not, watching those little facial cues and body language and things like that. So you can do amends in a letter. You can do amends. I don't like email. Do it in a real honest to God letter. You can do it in a letter. You can do it on the phone. Best is in person. And like I said, you may see that they will go, fuck you. And then you go, I got it. I understand. So, but I just wanted to let you know I hurt you and I am sorry. And then you leave. So the amends are really, honest to God, not so much for them as they are for us, because what this is a practice in personal responsibility. It is a practice in owning what we have done on behalf of our abuser. Absolutely. And if people are interested, they'll ask questions. They'll go, well, how come and why and what happened and why did you do this? And if you're doing that before you've worked on yourself, you're not going to have the answers. Okay. That's why I'm saying it's super, super, super important that you work on your self-esteem, your boundaries, the manipulation, all of that stuff first. Then you make a list of amends, and then you go out and take personal responsibility, explain, educate, etc. So like I said, if the family or friends are flying monkeys and they run back to the abuser and, you suddenly start hearing stuff back that, what you've said to them, then you, bye-bye, now bye-bye. Ain't nobody got time for that. So there that is. Okay, hang on. I wanted to get to the second part of this question. Okay, what do we say? How much and to what detail do we talk about our abuse? Again, it's up to you. Some people just want to leave it at, I know I hurt you and I'm really sorry. And that's okay. Some people feel the need to educate and explain. It just depends on what your comfort level is. And be prepared for questions. Be prepared for questions. So when somebody harms on behalf of an abuser, the target of that abuse is going to be like, don't you know who I am though? How could you have done this knowing who I am, and yet you went ahead and did it? I don't understand. And at that point, that's when you talk about Stockholm syndrome. That's when you talk about abuse by proxy. That's when you talk about codependency. This is a great opportunity to educate, guys. It is. And it's going to be uncomfortable as fucking hell. It is. Making amends, again, is a scary proposition because we don't know what they're going to do. Now, when you do not make amends is to abusers, okay? If family members are abusive, nope. They don't need your amends. They should be amending to you, okay? So you never, ever, ever make amends to an abuser, ever. You don't need to. You don't need to. And here's the reason Why? When we get with an abuser, they poke, 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 trying to get us to respond so that we get down to their level. And then when we do, they sit back and go, oh, see, you're abusive. You're this, you're that. You're you guns. No, thank you. You do not need to make amends to your abuser. Now, the other time that you do not make amends is if you have family members that are, like I said, flying monkeys and they're siding with the abuser. If you already know that, don't even bother. That's like you would have a better chance of having a deeper conversation with my backdrop. Seriously. So you want to be careful like that. Okay, so hold on. I hope that answered that question. I'm going to answer the third part. So you basically, you tell them as much as you want to or as much as they ask questions of. Because some people, honest to God, when you go back and you start apologizing and you take responsibility for your behavior, it's really important that the person who got abused by proxy understands that it wasn't them, that they were just the target from the abuser through the original target because they saw who the abuser was. Super important, super, super important. And it's also really important to take responsibility for that. You know what? I was enthralled. I am an addict as far as the, intermittent positive rewards is concerned. I would have done anything to keep them. And I realized that I hurt you on their behalf to appease them. And now I understand they will never be appeased. I got it. And I hurt you and I am sorry. And it will not happen again. And then you fucking well make sure it doesn't happen again, which means you have to work on yourself like crazy because I don't want you to get out of one bad relationship back into another abusive relationship and bada bing, bada boom, you're discarding and harming your family and friends again. That's cray. Don't do that. That's bad. Bad juju. All right. So there is that. Hang on. All right. The family understands, or the family struggles with understanding the behaviors and why I stayed for so long, more than a decade. They don't get why I often isolated, I wasn't truthful or forthcoming with information, and why after leaving the abusive relationship, I can get triggered and become emotionally overwhelmed at times. So this is where a good therapist comes into play, guys. So if you're dealing with close family members, not like, distant family members, but close family members, and you need help helping them understand or to explain to them what it was that you went through, get with a good trauma therapist who understands domestic violence, who gets narcissistic abuse, who understands malignant anything, and help the family through it. So you may need family counseling. I'm a huge fan of that because if you can get everybody on the same page, it makes the family stronger and it makes you stronger. And they're able to understand what happened and why. And they get that it wasn't them. And they also get that you somehow got programmed to be vulnerable to a narcissist. Now, this is where it comes into dicey territory. If the families are abusive, don't even bother. Don't even bother, okay? Because you're not going to change them. But if they are loving and kind and caring and they care about you and they love you and they're sitting there going, why? I'm so scared for you. Why are you going to this person? Why are you going back to this person? Why are you staying with this person? Why did you discard us? What's going on? Then you want to get them into therapy to help them understand. And you want to have them read as many books on this as possible. Educate. Education is the key to everything, guys. And education is going to what's shut down these abusers because the more people that are onto them, the less they're able to manipulate. So educate. And yeah, I would recommend family therapy. Absolutely. If it's a truly loving family and they're just like, I don't get it. You know who I am. Why did you say these horrible things to me? Why did you do this? Why? Then get them into therapy to help them understand. So that's my recommendation on that. Okay. All right. As far as being overwhelmed, again, a good therapist will help them understand that. But the other thing of it is CPTSD, From Surviving to Thriving. That's another great book. Have them read it. When somebody is subjected to abuse over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, that person gets triggered a lot after getting out of the abuse, and they will get emotionally overwhelmed. So it's really important to explain to them anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, what's going on. Have them read all the books. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see, where are we? Okay. Okay, so in the beginning of my recovery, I was so adamant to clarify we were on the same page and that our interpretation of conversations matched. I've tried to explain gaslighting, fleas, flying monkeys, and narc abuse. I only do this when they ask why, but I literally get blank stares and create more confusion for them. I know that my family will need time to adjust to the new me, but any help in moving forward in the process? Okay, again, we don't talk enough about this. We don't. And it's not taught enough in the schools, in like the colleges, okay, in the psychiatric departments, in the psychology departments, they need to actually really make an entire course on nothing but domestic violence. They really do, but they're not, because like I said, the APA and the ACA, there's a part of them that are the humanists that are like, oh, we don't want to hurt the abuser's widow feelings, and I'm like, fuck that shit. So you know what? We got to educate. We got to educate. And yes, they are going to look at you with blank stares. They're not going to get it. They're not going to understand. And that's why you have to educate. So you just keep having them read the books, have them go to the good counselor, the good one, the one who understands domestic violence and abuse. If you take them to a counselor that doesn't know their ass from a hole in the ground, it's going to do more damage. And they're not going to get it, because that counselor is going to side with the fucking, they'll be a fucking flying monkey. So they'll side with the fucking abuser, and you do not want that shit. So you get with a good trauma therapist who understands that kind of abuse, and then you just educate the living crap out. Have them watch my videos. They're offended by swearing, just tell them to replace motherfucker with gee whiz. You know, it's like, get over it, fucking learn. Okay. All right. Okay. Here we go. All right. So I hope that answered that question. So making amends, guys, is going to be more for you. Honestly, it's taking personal responsibility than it is for the other person. However, if they are truly interested in learning, they will go to counseling with you. If they refuse to go to counseling with you, huge red flag. Huge red flag. All right, there that is. Okay, so I got some questions back here that I wanted to catch. Merry Christmas from Zambia. Good Lord. Wow, Merry Christmas. Okay, ho, 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 no contact. No contact. I love it. That's great. Okay. My nephew living with my narc mom, something my birthday, never wished, November was my birthday, never wished me happy birthday, generally text me every year, never text me happy Christmas. You think he's a flying monkey, I'm upset. Quite possibly, without knowing the situation, I don't know, but he's, if he's a young guy, he may just be busy. And he may have forgotten, kids are, can be kids. But if he's living with a narcissist, there is a possibility that there is smearing going on. Oh, speaking of smearing, holy cow. I just saw Mary Queen of Scots. You want to see a really good historical movie that really shows smearing? Holy mother of smears. It was so frightening to watch what happened to this woman. She was so smeared. It was crazy. And okay, on a side note, first of all, Mary Queen of Scots, yummy Scottish men in this movie. Oh my God, 2 hours of Scottish accents. I was a happy girl. And David Tennant, didn't even recognize him. Oh my God, totally unrecognizable. I don't know if I want to tell you who he plays, but well, let's just say that you will not recognize him, because I didn't recognize him. I'm sitting there listening to this guy's voice. I'm like, damn, that voice sounds so familiar. Who the hell is it? I had to go look it up. Anyway, great movie. If you want to see smearing on a national level, that's one to watch. It really, and David Tennant does most of the smearing in it. It's pretty amazing. And he was a puppet to the other narcissists in the movie. So great movie. Great movie. Great. So go see it. It's really good. Okay. All right. Oh dear. Hold on. How can I make amends to someone who hurt me and I didn't hurt them? You don't. You don't. You don't. That's not what amends are. You make a fierce moral inventory of who you've harmed. That's what amends are about. It's not about somebody who's hurt you. You don't go up to somebody and go, I demand an amend, because that's never going to happen. So you make amends for yourself. It's about who you've harmed. That's what it is. Okay. I'm really scared to make amends to my sister, who has helped me past 4 years climb out of my meth addiction. I was talking crap about her abusive husband to my twin, which later came out when and it just ended. Okay. So that's a tough one. So here's the thing. You don't ever want to talk crap about people. And the other thing of it is too, is if the twin is running back and telling stories, that's not good either. So that's got to be addressed, because it's kind of like either this person is a confidant or you cannot trust them. If you cannot trust them, be done, be done, be done, be done. So what you can do is you can let her know that you love her very much, and that you're sorry that you hurt her, and that you are concerned about her. And if she doesn't like that, and she may not, then, wait until she's ready to hear it. Because again, when somebody is in the middle of an abusive relationship, you cannot help them. Why? Because they're in the middle of an addiction. Holy crap. If, meth addict, hello, you should understand this. It's like when you're in the middle of that intermittent positive rewards, you're not going to give up your drug. You're not going to give up your alcohol. You're not going to give up your abuser. You're not. You're going to do whatever you have to defend that, because you're not willing to put down that which makes you miserable because of the fear. Because, well, what is sobriety like? What is being alone like? What if I don't have anybody? Oh my God. And we allow that to keep us stuck in this abusive relationship. So, don't expect the sister to be kind and forgiving. Okay. She's probably not. She's going to defend her abuser like nobody's business, but you can let her know that you value her and you love her, and that you're sorry that happened, and you take responsibility for it. And you also need to let your twin know that you're not going to use him as a confidant anymore, or her as a confidant. So there that is. Okay. Where are we? Okay. Okay, there's a narc who refuses to apologize for anything and doesn't see anything wrong with their behavior most of the time, doesn't remember what they've said. Yeah, of course not. It's called abuse amnesia. I've done a video on that. So abusers will abuse, and then they will deny that it ever happened. I never said that. That never happened. What are you talking about? You're crazy. So it's called gaslighting. And abusers don't feel sorry, guys. They're not sorry. The only time they're ever sorry is when they get caught red-handed. That's the only time they're sorry. So don't ever expect an abuser to apologize. It ain't gonna happen. Satan will be ice skating before that happens. Seriously, you know what I'm saying. So don't expect them to apologize. They are not going to. They do not have a sense of empathy. They do not. They don't care that they've harmed you. They don't. If they did, they wouldn't fucking do it in the first place. So there that is. Twin was drunk. My sponsor says I should tell my sister I had something to do with that, but I was concerned and mad at her husband. Okay, so again, yeah, the twin was drunk, so you need to clean that up. And yeah, your sponsor is 110% right. Yep, do it. And like I said, she may be like, fuck you, I'm not going to talk to you, blah, blah, blah. But again, amends are for you. They are for you. They are for you to take personal responsibility. Scared? Yeah. Is it scary? Fuck yeah, it is, because you risk rejection. And what is the thing that most people are most afraid of? It's rejection. And at the end of the day, you know that you've done the right thing and you have made the amend. You have offered the olive branch. And if that person takes the olive branch and slaps you in the face with it, then you go, okay, I've done everything I can. And you, with a clear conscience, can then walk away. That's what amends are. So, okay. If I have an addiction to the narc and I read the book again, who do I make amends to when I never hurt anyone? Yourself. You make amends to yourself. You work on your self-esteem. You remember who you are. You take good care of you. You make a promise to you to never allow anyone ever, and I don't care who the fuck they think they are, to abuse you again, ever. Because you are precious and you are a bundle of light, and you are here to help other people, most of all yourself at first, and then you can turn around and help other people. So you make amends to yourself. And that means Working the Self-Esteem Workbook by Schiraldi, The Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker, PTSD From Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker. That one's going to be triggering. Watch out for that one. Take it in small chunks. You love you, honey. You love you. You have harmed you by allowing somebody to abuse you. And now you don't need to do that anymore. You don't need to. You don't. You don't deserve that. Nobody does. Nobody does. Oy. So take good care of you. Take good care of you. Go make amends to yourself. Learn everything you can. Do not allow anybody to ever abuse you again, ever, because you don't deserve it. You don't. Okay, question. What do you do when you have asked for forgiveness and repented and it has been received, but the people, my children, suddenly start punishing you for something you don't know what it is? Okay, so here's the deal. If this is a good topic. So forgiveness, let's talk about that. If somebody truly forgives the person, they do not continue to punish. So this kind of goes back to the whole resentment thing, okay? This kind of goes back to the whole anger and resentment and revenge. So anger and resentment and revenge, this goes along with the punishing. So that is like picking up two hot coals, intending to throw it at somebody else, but the only person who gets burned is you. And unfortunately, when you're so in it and you can't see it, you think that your anger is going to hurt somebody else, and it doesn't. All it does is hurt you because you're burning yourself with your own anger. So if they are punishing you for something that you don't even know what it is, what you do is you go, I feel like I'm being punished. You call it out. I statement. I feel like I'm being punished. I feel sad. And I'm wondering if you can tell me where the anger is coming from and how I can make amends for it. Boom. And if they can't do that, if they go, well, I don't know, then they're more interested in being angry than they are in having a relationship. And at that point, even if they're your children, you kind of go, okay, well, when you know, let me know. Other than that, I am not going to sit here and allow you to be disrespectful, period. And then you don't. So there that is. All right. The cutoff narc recently hoovered with Christmas money. We haven't responded. Now he has stepped it up the ante to calls and saying, we need to talk. How do we prep ourselves to respond? I'm assuming you're talking about a parent, either an in-law or a actual, your parent. So, okay, this is why I wanted to do this show today, because this is the time of year. It's the most wonderful time of the year for hoovers. Yeah, this is when they start hoovering like nobody's fucking business. So they will use money. They will use gifts. They will use guilt. They will use manipulation. They will use suicide attempts. They will use, you name it. They'll use whatever in order to try to reestablish some sort of contact. So remember, abusers would rather have a fucked up, dysfunctional connection to somebody than no connection at all. Healthy, normal people do not put up with crap. They don't. So when they send Christmas money, okay, and it's got strings attached, you get a couple of options here. If you choose to have a talk with them, be very careful. It's a trap. Suddenly felt like Star Wars. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. Because they're either going to bring other family members in to try to gang up on you, and it's going to be an ambush, which is what usually happens, or they're going to, make you wrong the whole time, or they're going to do the you're so horrible, you're so this, you're so that, you guns, whatever. So if you choose to go into this conversation, you gray rock. You listen to what they have to say and you go, uh-huh, 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 uh-huh. Where's my watch? Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. And you don't respond. You do not give them any emotion at all. Now, it's going to piss them right the fuck off because they're looking for a confrontation. Poke, 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 poke. And usually what will end up happening is if you've cut off somebody who's abusive and they've sent you money and then they're like, well, we need to talk. What they're going to do is they're going to be like the martyr. That's usually the route that they go. Well, I don't understand. I just sent you all this money and why are you treating me this way? They don't really want to know. Please, if they really wanted to know, they wouldn't have behaved like fucking assholes. Hold on. So, and people who have treated people badly, narcissists especially, know that they have misbehaved and know they have acted like assholes. They just don't want to deal with it. So they're going to try to flip it around and make it all you, which is why I'm saying be very, very careful if you decide to go into this ambush, because that's what it's going to be. He or she is going to try to flip it around on you and you're the bad guy and you're this, you're that. My big thing is if money is being used as a manipulation, send it the fuck back. It's not worth it. It's not. If it's a true gift, there are no strings attached. If it is a manipulation, there are strings attached. Well, I'm going to do this for you, but I expect you to fill in the blank. Kowtow to me, bump up my ego, tell me how fabulous I am, allow me to abuse you, whatever their bullshit is. So no, either the gift is given freely, here it is. This is a gift. That's what gift means. It means no strings attached, and here you go. If that's the case, great. But if they're putting strings on it, you send it back to them. Absolutely. You do not allow yourself to be manipulated by money. You do not, period. So, excuse me. Anyway, I hope that answered the question. If you are going to have a chat with them, both of you need to be prepared for this to get ugly, and it's going to get flipped around, and he or she is going to blame you guns, or martyr. They're going to do the martyr routine. Oh, I do all of this. Look what I've done for you. Look at all I do for you. You never write. You never cool. That whole thing. So you just don't play. You just don't play. You just go, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You can do some reflective listening. Okay, so what I heard you say was, and then you reflect back to them, that pisses them off too. So, don't expect this to be a good thing. Don't expect them to, suddenly have an epiphany or, behave in any way, shape, or form like a normal human being. They're not going to. So, but if you do choose to go into this, just have a lot of humor, and recognize that they're either going to bring other family members into it to try to have, reinforcements, or they're going to try to flip the script and make it all about you. So there that is. Okay, I hope that answered that question. You prep yourselves by learning to do gray rock, and that is a skill. And it takes time to master, because when somebody's sitting there pushing your buttons and pushing your buttons and pushing your buttons and pushing your buttons, your amygdala is getting stimulated, and your response is going to be whatever you normally do: fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And you have to master that. That means deep breathing. Mm-hmm. 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 Do you see where I'm going? Pleasant look on your face, no emotional response. You're breathing so that you get that oxygen in that tells that brainstem, we're safe, we're okay, we're not going to be in danger, everything's good. Do you see where I'm going with that? So ask yourselves if it's worth it. You could ask them to do it through email. That way it's in writing, and then they can't gaslight and say, I never said that, or, they can't be nasty, because then you've got it in writing. So I would avoid a personal confrontation if you possibly can. If you choose to do it, do a gray rock and just practice. Okay. How do you not rip the wings off of flying monkeys? Undergoing lots of slander at my work because of falsehoods. What amazes me is how easily it's believed. Trying to rise above this, not defend myself. Okay, so you do not want to respond. So again, the narcissist game with the smear campaign, and I've done videos on this. I strongly suggest, Andrea, you go back and you watch the videos, okay, on the smear campaign. So what the narcissist, what the abuser wants to do is they're threatened by you in some way, shape, or form, okay? Hold on just a second. And especially if you're liked at work, they want to ruin that, because they want to be liked at work. They want to be the top dog. They want to be the one that gets all the attention. And they can't stand it when somebody is pure of heart, kind, gentle, whatever. And I also did one on bullies. So go back and watch the one I did on bullies in the workplace. Okay. So you're going to want to rip their wings off. You are. It's normal. It's a normal reaction. And it's kind of one of those Buddhist moments, Christian moments, where you have to go forgive them, for they know not what they do. They're harming themselves. You rise above. You never put yourself in a position of having to defend yourself. As soon as you put yourself in a defense position, you're at the weaker position. Okay. Because people will go, oh, look at that. Oh, she's defending herself. Oh, well, there must be something to it. And if you just go, I'm not even gonna dignify that with an answer, and you just sail through, they got nothing. They're looking for something to fight against, okay? So they're looking for something it's just like in Kung Fu, okay? When your enemy, and I talked about this last week, when your enemy comes at you, they're expecting to meet fist with fist, okay? And that's what causes battles, right? But if you're smart, you're gonna flank them, right? Unlike General Lee, don't get me started. You're going to flank them, and you're going to let them just sail past and take themselves to their own destruction. What you do, however, is you document the living crap out of everything, and you let your work know, this is a hostile work environment, and I'm not going to put up with this shit. You're not. So go watch the video I did on bullies in the workplace. And you don't ever want to defend yourself. You don't. I'm not even going to dignify that. Do you know who I am? Are we friends? Have you known me for how many years? Do you really think I would do something like that? Really? Pfft. And then you walk on. You don't justify, you don't defend, you don't do anything except say that. And then you walk on. And then that makes that person look cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, because they generally are. So yeah, go watch those videos, and there it is. So yes, your normal reaction is going to be anger, because it's unfair. It's unfair to have slander thrown at you. It's unfair to have somebody who does not know what they're talking about tell you who you are, or tell somebody else who you are. Okay. So yeah, it is unfair. You are going to feel anger. So the best thing you can do with that, write and burn letters. Write and burn letters. Dear flying monkeys, fuck the fuckity fuck out of fucking fuck you assholes, and whatever else you need to say, you lying whore, you lying sack of shit, you lying whatever, and then trot it out to the barbecue, read it out loud once, burn it, let it go. Do not allow these assholes to take up residence in your head. Raise the rent. Raise the rent, because that's what they want. They want to be in your head 24/7. They do. They want you to live in fear, and they want to be in your head 24/7 so that all you think about is them. No, refuse. I'm sorry, I'm raising the rent. Guess what? You're being evicted. I've got better things to do, like plan Disneyland trips, things like that. So you let it go. You let it go. That's their whole goal, is that they want to be in your head because they think that they're so fucking powerful, and they're so fucking not. So don't even give them the power. Don't even give them the power. Let it go. And if you want to take it a step further and you really want to piss them off on a total cosmic spiritual level, you do the meta meditation. First, you start with yourself. May I have peace? May I have freedom from suffering? May I have all that I need, food, shelter, companionship? May I have peace? Then you go to somebody neutral. May my grocery clerk have peace? May they have all that they need? May they have freedom from suffering? May they have food, shelter, companionship? May they have peace? May my enemy have peace, because the lack of peace is what's causing the gossip, because they don't want to focus on themselves. If they're focused outward and they're gossiping and they're slandering and they're doing this, that, and the other thing, then they are not dealing with their own shit. There you go. May my enemy have peace. May they have freedom from suffering. May they have all that they need, food, shelter, companionship. May they have peace. And you repeat that over and over and over until you believe it. And it's hard. I'm not going to lie to you. It is hard. When somebody has wronged us, when somebody has harmed us, the natural inclination is to meet fist with fist. You must step out of the way and allow them to take themselves down to their own destruction. And that means compassion and forgiveness, which is what I was talking about, which is where I got sidetracked. Damn it, I did it again. Okay, so forgiveness is not about the other person, it's about us. Because if we do not go, okay, I get where they're coming from, they're miserable, they're damaged, they're suffering, I get it, and I let them go. If we don't do that, if we just hang on to it like a badge of honor, we are only driving ourselves crazy. It's the picking up the hot stones and tending to throw it at somebody else, and instead we're the only ones that get burned. So forgiveness is not about the other person, it's about us. It's about letting them go, recognizing we can't change them. We can't. It'd be nice if we could, a little enlightenment stick and whap people over the head with it, but we can't. So you let them go. They're going to do what they're going to do. Can you stop them? No. So Buddhist worry chart. Is there a problem? Yes. Can you do something about it? Yes. Then don't worry. Is there a problem? Yes. Can you do something about it? No. Then don't fucking worry. They're going to do what they're going to do. You can't control them. Let it go. 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 Don't make me start singing. Oh my God. So it really, it is a natural reaction to be angry, and you write them a goodbye letter and you kick them out of your head and you remind yourself you can't change them. You can't fix them. This is a higher power issue. This is a, they got issues with the higher power at this point. And that's when you do the meta meditation or you pray for them. Geez, hope they figure it the fuck out. They must be miserable, or whatever. So, but you let them go. You don't allow them to live rent-free in your head. You don't. Y'all got better things to do. You do. We got grandkids. We got great nieces and nephews. We got friends. We've got, all the people who know who we really are. You also do not allow them to continue to abuse. If they are making it a hostile work environment, you speak the hell up and you file a formal complaint. So go watch my videos that I did on bullying in the workplace and on the smear campaign. So that should help. I really hope I answered that question on forgiveness. Holy cow, I did kind of go off on a tangent. Okay. Okay. Thanks, guys. Oh no. Oh, where did it go? Oh my gosh, it did it again. Holy cow. Sometimes when I do scroll down, it like takes me to a different part of the thing. Oh, there we go. Found myself. Hang on. Okay. Okay. Answered that one. Answered that one. Okay, answered that one. Okay, the abusive relationship I quit. It's over. Now my financials are a catastrophe. Yes, that's normal. I have to ask my narcissistic parents for money for my son and me after years of no contact. How do I do it? You don't. You don't. You don't. If they're abusive, you are asking for trouble. Find another way. Honestly, it's like, go see if there is any grants that you can get or if a church would be willing to help out. Seriously, that's what you're going to want to do. You do not want to go back to narcissistic abusive parents. You do not, because the second you ask for anything, there's going to be strings attached. So Fresh Start Women's Resource Center, they are all over the country. Fresh Start Women's Resource Centers, there are women's shelters everywhere. Catholic charities. Go find out if they have any sort of grants or way to help people, or, there's food banks. You do not want to go back to an abuser ever, 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 because they will abuse the living shit out of you, and they will use that opportunity to have a string attached, and now they've got you right where they want you. So you definitely want to see if you can go through a church or go through some sort of charitable organization or a Fresh Start Women's Resource Center, or something like that. You do not want to go back to an abusive parent, because they will take this opportunity to, abuse. So there it is. There are, askbertha.com. Askbertha.com. That is a social resource place that has all kinds of resources in there. So askbertha.com. So check out that and see what you can find on there. So there is that. Okay. Is it okay to not agree with some therapy practices? Can I accept some of what's taught and disagree with other concepts? Well, yeah, that's normal, guys. So, okay, so this is good. So when you're dealing with somebody who is narcissistic, who is abusive, who is malignant, whatever, sociopath, psychopath, malignant, borderline, malignant narcissist, I'm talking down at the end of the spectrum, people. I'm not talking trades of. So when they have been abusing people, there is something called splitting, okay? Splitting. So splitting is where everybody has to agree with them. It has to be black and white, all good, all bad, all black, all white, all or nothing thinking. It's splitting. So as with anything else, you take what works and you chuck the rest. You do what works for you. Not everybody is metaphysical. They're not. If I suggest meditation to somebody, they may look at me and go, fuck you, that's not going to happen. And I'll go, okay, I just thought I'd throw it out there. And then we'll try something else. So you take what works and you chuck the rest. Like with any religion, like with any therapy, like with whatever. You do what works for you, but don't discount something because you haven't even tried it yet. It's so funny because it's like when I talk about writing and burning letters, somebody was like, well, that's not going to happen and that's not going to help and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, have you tried it? And then they were like, and I'm like, try it. The worst that can happen is you do it and it does nothing for you. If it does nothing for you, then get with a therapist that will help you get other tools that will help you learn to let go. That's really what it's all about. So you take what works and you chuck the rest. And, some therapists are like not, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not flexible. But you know what? You go where the client tells you to and what's going to help them the most. Some clients I have are super metaphysical. And so we do a lot of guided imagery and a lot of, spiritual work and a lot of, stuff like that. And other people are like, nope, not interested. It's not my thing. I want results, you know, that kind of thing. And that's when we dive into, okay, journaling and writing and burning letters and, you know, doing all the workbooks and, you know, things like that. So you just go wherever the client needs to. So yeah, you take what works and you check the rest. Absolutely. Okay, let's see. All right, let's see where the next question is. EMDR is great, guys. EMDR is great. DBT is great. CBT is great. You know, whatever works for you. Emotional freedom therapy, focus therapy, whatever. EFT, you know, whatever the name of it is, that's a great one. The tapping, the faster EFT has been successful, although there's some caveats with that, so be careful. But yeah, EFT, EMDR, DBT, all of these are really great therapies. And not every therapy in modality is for every person. Some people don't like doing, you know, like, okay, Gestalt. Gestalt is one where you have the empty chair and you talk to the empty chair. And some people don't like that, you know, so you just go with whatever modality, you research the different modalities and you go with whichever one you think is going to work best for you. And if you've got a good therapist, they'll be eclectic in their ability to switch from one modality to the next, because those make the best therapists because they know all of the modalities and they can switch depending on what the client needs. Okay. Okay, let's see. Hang on a second. Okay, my BPD ex lashed out at me for seeing other people post-breakup. Oh, this happens so often. I can't even begin to tell you. Holy cow. All right, once and for all, guys, when you are broken up, that means you're broken up. That means you are free to roam about the country. Y'all can date whoever the hell you want, and it's nobody's fucking business. So that's abuse. That is abuse. That is so fucking abuse. I can't even fucking begin to tell you. So that's abuse. So what they do is they break up and then they expect you to be, you know, celibate. They do. They expect you to never date anybody ever again and to sit there and pine away in the fields. You know, that's an old Monty Python joke. Anyway, the point being is they will demand that you be celibate and get back together with them. And then when you do get back together with them, they'll ask you 100,000, well, who did you date and what did you do and where did you go and da, 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 da. And they'll want to know everything. And my God, they'll use it against you. They absolutely will use it against you. If they are doing that, be the fuck done. Be done. That's abuse. That is abuse. It's control. It's manipulation. It's a game. It's a setup. Be done. All right. Hope that answers the question. And I think I've been discarded. Is it right to just not speak to them after we've been trying to reconcile and just move on? You know what? Be done. That's abuse. I've already answered your question. That is abuse. Be done. You don't deserve it. Be done. Okay. I know I have BPD, but my therapist says I have bipolar. How do I get a correct diagnosis to be able to get the right kind of therapy? I've been trying to find help for a year now. You're going to need to psych eval, hun. So bipolar and BPD often get misdiagnosed as each other. Okay, so you want to get a psych eval. You do. And you want to tell whoever's doing the psych eval what you're, you know, why you're coming in, because you need to know, is it this, or is it a combination? And so that's really, really, really important so that you know how to treat it. Super important. So those two conditions often get misdiagnosed as each other, and it can be comorbid. So yeah, you definitely want to get a psych eval. And the question is, do you trust your therapist? Do you like your therapist? If you don't, fire them, find another one. Super important. If you don't like a therapist, fire them, find another one. Trust me, a good therapist will not be upset by that, because I recognize I'm not for everybody. Not everybody can handle my bluntness, and that's okay. So you get with a good therapist. So you want to definitely go get a psych eval to see what's going on, because it's important. Because if it's bipolar, you got to get on mood stabilizers so that you're not shooting up and down and all that sort of good stuff. So yeah, definitely go get that checked for sure. And if there is BPD, you definitely want to get it to a DBT therapist to help work with the emotional regulation. And that might also be helpful in dealing with the bipolar when it goes up and down. But if you're on mood stabilizers, that should mitigate that. But you need to get a psych eval to know what's going on for sure. Okay. Please take good care of yourself. Nothing to mess around with. Go do it. Okay. Should I make amends with someone who I suspect is also abusive? Nope. Nope. My narc mom used me as a flying monkey many times while abusing my sister-in-law, but I think she, the sister-in-law, is also disordered. Nope, you be done. You be done. Be done. Be done. Be done. Be done. Just be done. So here's the deal. If you feel you need to say something to somebody who is an abuser, okay? So you may have been, reactionary to them, you may have whatever, and you feel the need to make amends. What you do is you write it out and you burn it. You write it out and you burn it. You do not send it. You do not need contact with abusers. You do not, okay? You just don't. Be done. You don't deserve to be abused by anybody. Okay. Okay, hang on. How do you handle a mean narc joke at a family function? Ooh. That's a tough one. See, and we're coming up on Christmas, so there's going to be a lot of us having to go out and be with dysfunctional family. You have the right to leave, or you just don't respond. So again, it's gray rock. They're looking for a response. They want an upset. They want a family rift. They want drama. They want, whatever. You don't have to laugh at it. But, as soon as the joke is made, I would turn and be like, oh, I'm going to go help out in the other room, or, make an excuse so they don't see your face is what I'm trying to say. So you don't have to respond. It's not your job to correct them. It's not, because that's what they're looking for. So when somebody says something horrible in a family situation, if you can leave, just come up with it. Oh gosh, got to let the dogs out. They've been in the kennel for, 6 hours now. Got to go, whatever, and just get out. Or, if this person is persisting in doing that, you just be busy in the kitchen, be busy with the little ones, just be busy, and don't ever try to correct them, because what's going to happen is that's their opening. They're looking for family drama. Hang on just a second. So what I have seen is narcissists, and I can't tell you the number of clients that tell me these stories. Narcissists will, poke. They know somebody in the room is either in recovery or doesn't approve of them or whatever, and they'll say something looking for that reaction, because they're looking for that person to fight against them. So what you do is you give them nothing. You don't laugh at it. You don't have to. You just keep a pleasant look on your face and you stay busy. And then, keep them guessing. That's the best way to do it, is you just keep them guessing. Keep them guessing. You got a pleasant look on your face. Okay, I don't agree with that joke. You're an asshole. Okay, well, I'm going to go do the dishes, or whatever. So don't respond. Don't respond. Don't respond. Don't respond. Okay, let's see. Oh, sugar cayenne. I love that. Anger is an acid that only erodes the vessel in which it is kept. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Samuel Clemens. Oh, Mark Twain. Ooh, very cool. I love that. I think that's great. I think it's brilliant. All right. And actually, this dress, guys, is so funny. This is a Haunted Mansion dress. This is the one that the little girl with the parasol with the alligator below her in the stretching room is wearing. But to me, it looks like Christmas, because it's got red. I don't know if you can see this or not. Red and green on it. And I was just like, this looks like Christmas to me. I'm just going to wear it. So thank you. Okay. I told my ex I will only do parallel parenting. Yes. She texts to say that is an easy way out. Parallel parenting is for me. Co-parenting is for the kids. Yeah, you don't ever tell them, guys. You don't ever tell them. You don't ever announce that you're going to be parallel parenting, because the narc doesn't understand it and won't get it and will use it against you. So the less you tell them, the better. You just do it. You don't tell them. The problem of it is that we've been conditioned to tell them everything. We have. They have conditioned us, just like a dog, to sit, be a good little boy or good little girl, whatever, and tell them everything. No, you don't. You don't. You don't tell them anything. They don't need to know. They don't need to know what you're doing. It's none of their fucking business. If they're an ex, they're an ex. Keep it that way. So you don't tell them. You don't tell them, because they'll use it against you. Absolutely. Okay. There's no I in team, but there are 3 in narcissistic. I'm so going to use that. That's great. Okay. All right. I've blocked mine. Now he is contacting me over a car I have in his name. He wanted it back and he knew he wasn't going to get it back. He's gone silent. Okay. Glad I could help. Okay. He came where I live to the shop, phoned me 12 times in one day, and my son, when I didn't answer, he said where he lives with NS now is something, I can't read it, because she has kids. Okay, I don't understand, but that's okay. How long does a family smear campaign last? Decades. If there is narcissism in the family, if there's an abuser in the family, if the head of the family is an abuser, it will last for decades. It will not stop. That's why you go no contact and you go, thanks for playing. Bye-bye. And you don't have anything to do with them. So yeah, the smear campaign can last for decades in a family. You betcha. Because people will rather cling to the fantasy of the smear campaign than to the reality that the head of the family is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, if they're disordered themselves. So yeah, so you just don't have anything to do with it. I find that I attract the anger of people who are losing their privilege as they feel entitled to me and my attention. So yeah, no, they're not entitled to you or your attention. If they're abusive, you make yourself unavailable. And are they going to be angry? Yeah, because they like having a scapegoat. Scapegoats are the person in the family that everyone has decided that they are going to pick on. And when the scapegoat finally goes, enough, I'm done, goodbye, I'm not playing, they get all pissed because guess what? Because now the family dynamics have to shift. And somebody has to be the scapegoat. Can't be them. Got to keep the scapegoat in the family. Got to keep the focus on the scapegoat. Because otherwise, somebody else in that family dynamic is going to become the scapegoat. That's why. Stay out. Get out. Stay out. Don't go back. Trust your gut. Okay. I'm getting better at Gray Rock, but I dread meeting the narc family for days to the point that the stress takes the best of me. Okay, normal. So this is why if you have to have contact with an abusive family over Christmas or any other family function, give yourself an out. Give yourself an out. Just I have to leave by X amount of time, or gosh, I just got an emergency phone call, I gotta go, or something, or I gotta let the dog out. And who let the dogs out? You gotta do that. You gotta give yourself an out because otherwise you're gonna be stressed out. So if you're going by yourself, give yourself an out. Absolutely. Have somebody call you at a prearranged time. Oh my gosh, my friend is stranded and she needs a ride home and she's in a bad area of town. I got to go help her, whatever. Do you see where I'm going? So give yourself an out. If it's a couple that's going to a family function and it's an abusive family, give yourselves a safe word so that okay, I've had it up to here. Let's go, and then that way your partner knows, oh, time to go, and then they can help reinforce, oh, we got to go, whatever. So, yep, absolutely. Okay. Hello, Germany. Okay. Okay. Whoa, this thing jumped up again. Oh my God. Where did it go? Okay, hang on. It went really far down. Oh, stop. Okay, hang on. Okay, hold on. All right, there we go. Good for you. So yeah, this is the time of year where you are going to get Christmas cards from them. You're going to get phone calls from them. You're going to get trips down memory lane from them. They will call you up and be like, oh, remember when we walked along the Champs-Élysées, or whatever the fuck they're going to make up. They're going to try to take you down memory lane. This is the time of year where you have got to have that list of deal breakers and remind yourself of how these fuckers abused you so that you don't fall for the Hoover, because they're going to try. They're going to try to get you nostalgic. They're going to try to get you to think about the good times. Why are you always thinking about the bad times? You should think about the good times. No, if you've been in abuse, you need to think about the bad times, because otherwise you're going to be all fogged, fear, obligation, and guilt. And you're going to be all, oh, but it wasn't that bad. Yeah, minimalizing. Hello? No, don't do it. And you're going to get right back into an abusive relationship. Leopards don't change their spots, guys. I hate to break it to you. It's just like the scorpion and the frog. It's in their nature. They are going to abuse. If they're narcissistic, they are going to abuse. That's all there is to it. Hang on. Okay. Hello, New Zealand. You're welcome. Okay. There are many evil people in the world. Yes. And I talked about this last week, but here's the deal. Not everybody's bad. Not everybody is bad. There are lots of good people out there. And I think the reason that we think that the world is worse than it is because, you know, if it bleeds, it leads. So the news media is always, always, always going to pick the worst headline, the worst quote, the worst picture, the worst, you know, whatever. So honestly, I don't watch the news. I don't. I will check in every once in a while, just pop my head up and see what's going on in the world. And I'll usually do that on like the BBC or something like that. And then I go back down, because the constant 24-hour news cycle has to have attention grabbing, ratings grabbing news stories. And it's bad for us, guys. It's bad for us, because honest to God, if we stopped paying attention to all of the negative stuff, pretty soon what the lead story would be is, hey, good things are happening today in wherever you are. But we don't. We give credence to the dark stuff, and we can't. We got to stop that. Now, that doesn't mean you ignore it. That means you still pop in and see what's going on and then do whatever you need to do. Like me, I'm an activist. So, you know, but you don't wallow in it, and you don't allow yourself to believe that everybody's bad. They're not. There are good leaders out there. There are. Just not here in the United States. But anyway, the point being, there are good leaders out there. There are. And there are good people out there, and there are good people. It's just we don't hear about them. So don't kid yourself. There are good people out there. Don't allow yourself to fall for the dark side. Just don't. Okay. Yeah, never match pitch with others. Don't become caught in their psychopathy. Absolutely. So this is what abusers want, is they want punch for punch, scream for scream, yell for yell, eye for eye. Don't do it. Just don't do it. The best thing you can do is amuse yourself. Like when I see somebody coming unfucking hinged, and I'll just notice like the little vein on the side of their neck just popping, and I'll be like, gee, I wonder if they're gonna, you know, stroke out. Huh, maybe I might need to call the 911. Holy shit. You know, that's what I think when somebody does that. Instead of getting all caught up in it, it's like, no, no, not worth my peace, people. Sorry. So yeah, absolutely. Okay. Okay, protective orders. I can't really give you an answer so much on that one. If they have tried to violate the order, then yeah, you absolutely want to renew it. If they have been, if you can renew it, I would. I absolutely would. But usually, see, that's a hard one, because it's like usually you have to show that they've continued to try to contact you, and you have to show that they are violating the order. I don't know where you are. I'm not sure what the laws are, but if you can get it re-upped, you should, honestly, especially if they've made any sort of threat, if they've tried to contact or anything like that. If they haven't, and it's been quiet, you can just let it slide. But, you know, once they realize that the protective order is up, they may try to contact you again, in which case then you have something to go back to the courts and say, okay, you know, I had a protective order on this person. They didn't contact me while the order was in place. As soon as it went off, they tried to. Let's get rid of them. You know, let's get another order going. So that's a hard one. I honestly wish that there would be lifetime protective orders, because once an abuser, always an abuser. And what oftentimes happens is that, especially if the abuser is a fucking psychopath, they'll wait until the protective order is up, and then they'll start, you know, reconnaissance and trying to figure out how to contact you and try to, poke the bear and do this, that, and the other thing. And people who do that are crazy, and there should be a lifetime restraining order against them. Abso-fucking-lutely, you betcha. But is it worth seeing the person in court again if it's not going to be renewed? I would say, and I'm not an attorney, so I can't give you legal advice, but I would say if there has been no contact and they haven't tried to violate the order and it's been quiet, let it just go. And then if they try to contact you as soon as the order is out of place, then you can go back and say, okay, I need one. Please put it back in place. So there it is. Okay. I cut off my narc parents. Okay, I cut my narc parents off with nothing. Where I live, you literally have to be homeless to get help. Ugh. So that's what we did. We spent 45 days in a women's shelter. Oh, that sucks. This is why we need to talk more about this, because there was finally, I posted the article on Facebook about a shelter that is allowing family pets to come with the domestic violence victims. This should have been going on the whole time, because abusers will use the family pets to terrorize the other spouse, male or female, because females can be abusers as well, guys. Don't kid yourselves. So, we need more people talking about this. We need more resources. We need more places for people to go. We need more help for domestic violence. It needs to be educated on, because there's a lot of abusers out there. Abso-freaking-lutely. Many churches have ministers' discretionary fund for members. Okay, great. That's awesome. Good to know. I kind of knew they did that. Yeah. Okay. If you are going to a doctor, okay, and they are throwing medication at you, pill after pill after pill after pill after pill after pill, and nothing is changing, you want a second opinion. Abso-fucking-lutely. That goes for anybody. It goes for, PCs. It goes for psychiatrists. It goes for psychologists. It goes for anybody who prescribes. If the medication is not working. Now, you got to keep in mind too, with psychiatric medication, it takes generally about 3 weeks for it to kick in. And oftentimes, especially with antidepressants, it really is like taking a dart and throwing it at a dartboard and seeing what sticks. So sometimes, you throw one pill at it, does nothing. You throw another pill at it, it does nothing, after 3 weeks. Okay. And then you throw another pill at it and suddenly it works. So, it just depends. Now, there's a way around that, but it is expensive. You can go get a cheek swab, and the cheek swab will tell you what antidepressants will work best with your body chemistry. I think that's about $300 though. So just letting you know. So yeah, if it's not working, get a second opinion. Abso-freaking-lutely. Yeah, the more self-sufficient you are, the more people will hate you. Yeah, absolutely. People these days simply want others to depend on them versus self-reliant. Well, if you are in a dysfunctional family that is very codependent, yes, that is absolutely the case. And often in cases like that, the codependent parent will not want to hear the good things that the kid is doing. They don't want to hear that they're succeeding. They don't want to hear the happy stuff. They want to hear the bad stuff, because they want that kid to be dependent on them, because in their mind, dependence means love. So you're stuck on them like this and you can't go anywhere. So yeah, that's not healthy. That is not healthy. That's The Disease to Please, Harry Breaker. Read it. Read it. Great book. Covert narc won't pay child support on a consistent basis. Okay. So the problem with child support, you have to go, Department of Economic Security, I think is what it's called here in Arizona. You have to file, and you have to let them know it's not being paid on. You need that money, and hopefully they'll garnish wages is what will happen. Okay, let's see. I am starting to lose my voice, so I'm probably going to shut it down here pretty soon. Hang on. Okay. Yes, this is a cape I'm wearing. It's, like I said, it's part of the Haunted Mansion. If you've ever been in the Haunted Mansion, it's the stretching room, the elevator that goes down. It's where she's, got the parasol and she's on the little wire, and there's an alligator below her. But this just, to me, looks like Christmas. I don't know. Okay. Bruce Lee mentioned years ago, the hardest thing to do is be your true self. If you have the courage to do this, you will achieve, but you will also have people say, be very jealous. Yes, it is very true. It is very true. People don't, abusers, let me caveat that. Abusers do not like authentic, real people. They don't. They scare the hell out of them, and they hate them. They hate them for being real. They hate them for being honest. They hate them for being everything that the abuser is not and will never be able to be. So abusers are the ones that say everybody lies. Well, because they lie. They're liars. And they encourage everybody around them to lie. And when they've come across somebody that refuses to lie, they don't know what to do with it. So they go on a smear campaign. So yeah, because they're jealous, because they're angry, because they'll never have that, because they don't have integrity. They don't have a moral compass. They don't. And they never will. And you cannot expect them to. Okay. All right. All right, hang on. How to work through social anxiety and CPTSD. It's been frustrating. Okay, get with a good therapist. Get with a good therapist. So social anxiety often comes from abuse. You got a parent or somebody who has told you that the world is a horrible, awful, terrible, dangerous place, and how dare you? And so you've got to work through all the mistaken thoughts, mistaken beliefs, etc. The trauma. CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker is a great place to start. And that will also work on the social anxiety, because where did you get those messages? It wasn't okay or safe to go out. So oftentimes there will be an abusive parent that will have given that message. So you want to journal. You want to start working the Inner Child Workbook by Catherine Taylor. That's another great book to do that. Yeah, so you just start journaling. Yoga is great. Breathing is super great, because that's what we need in order to help work through the anxiety, because we don't breathe when we're anxious. We tend to hold our breath, and when we stop breathing, and then all of a sudden our amygdala kicks in and the adrenaline gets in and we go, ah! Yeah. No bueno. So breathe. Yoga is great for that. Meditation is great for that. There's a whole bunch of really cool breathing meditations on YouTube that you can look up. So yeah, do it. Tapping works. Awesome. Cool beans. I'm glad to hear it. Okay. Yeah, social anxiety, kind of a fake it till you make it. You have to force yourself kind of sometimes into situations and then breathe. But yeah, get with a good therapist. Start working on that. Okay. Hang on. My narc mom was finally worn my whole family down. That's what they do. My dad was my rock, the nice guy. He tried to leave my mom a few years ago, and my mom threatened to ruin his name and his business. That's what they do. They will threaten blackmail. They will often get the person to engage in behavior that they would not otherwise normally do, so that they can then blackmail them with it, usually of a sexual nature. They are really awful, horrible, terrible people. And the problem of it is that it is, it's scary to the person, because they're like, oh my gosh, my good name is going to get smeared. Well, guess who's going to look crazy? Not the person who's being smeared, the one who's doing the smearing. So Shakespeare has a wonderful line: he who steals my purse steals trash. He who steals my good name makes me poor indeed, which is true to a certain point. However, just like with Andrea earlier talking about the smearers at work, rise above it. Get away from the abuser. Let the abuser say whatever they're going to say, because they're going to, whether you want them to or not. What's important is you moving forward with your life, getting out of the abuse and living your most authentic self. That's what's important. And your good name will actually be cleared in the long run, because the abuser is so desperate to discredit you, they're going to start sounding cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, because they are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So there you go. How do you determine if someone is a minor narcissist in a marriage versus someone who has caught narcissistic fleas? Well, narcissistic fleas are picked up by who we hang around. If we are with an abuser, we start acting like the abuser. We do. We start mirroring them, okay? And we start picking up their traits, their behaviors. A minor narcissist is somebody who is narcissistic. They may not be grandiose. They may be covert. So you want to look at how many of the traits do they have. Do they have 5 out of the 9? If so, they are a full-blown narcissist, okay? Fleas are usually just random behaviors that have been picked up. from being around an abuser. So, and those fleas go away when you point them out or you work on them. With a narcissist, the behavior never changes. Never. That's how you tell the difference. If somebody's picked up fleas and it's pointed out to them, hey, I noticed that you rage when this happens, and I'm wondering, can you work on that? Is that, that type of, if that person goes, oh my gosh, I had no idea, and they start working on it and the behavior changes, you're not dealing with a narcissist. If the behavior doesn't change, you're dealing with a narcissist. So I hope that answered the question. Yeah, gray rock and no contact this time of year can be hard. It is because, we feel alone. But here's the deal. There's plenty of things to do. There's friends that maybe got shoved away when we were with the abuser. Absolutely. There's volunteer work that we can be doing. There's all sorts of things that we can be doing. And this time of year is difficult. It is. I'm not going to lie to you, because people feel nostalgic and people feel sad and people want family. But family is not always blood. That's the thing that people forget. Family is not always blood. Sometimes the best family that you can ever find are not going to be related to you. So look for those friends. Hang out with those friends and let people know up front. It's like, hey, I'm going to be alone this Christmas. I was wondering if I could come over and hang out for a few hours. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And some people may say no, and some people may say yes. So, do something. Go volunteer. Do something. Do something. Don't just sit on the couch and feel sorry for yourself. Get out, do something. That's really important. Okay. All right. So question. And this is the same person where the mom threatened to blackmail him. She bitched enough to get him back, and now he's depressed, acts like her. I tried to warn him, but it's very depressing to see him sink away. Should I try to keep contact with him to help him? Again, here's the deal. And I don't know if it was Socrates that said this or Atticus. It was one of the two. You cannot help someone who is unwilling to put down that which makes them sick or miserable. You cannot. If they're unwilling to put it down, if they're unwilling to walk away from that which is making them sick or miserable, you cannot help them. You can keep throwing them, little hints and lifelines and like, hey, therapy would be a really great thing. Or, maybe getting away from that crazy bitch would be a really great thing. But you can't fix them, honey. It's not your job. It's not your job. It's not. I mean, you can send them all the books, but if they're just going to run right back to the abuser and tell them everything you've said, the abuser's going to undo every good thing you've ever done. Guarantee it. Because they see that you see them. They see that you see them. And so they're going to try to discredit you. They're going to try to devalue you, discard you, etc. You can try to keep contact with him, but recognize he has not decided to set down that which makes him sick. So, do what you can. Send him books, encourage therapy. And other than that, don't be attached to the outcome. Don't be attached to the outcome. When he's willing to set down what makes him miserable or makes him sick, then you can help him. So there it is. Okay. Whoa, this just jumped again. Why does it do that? Oh my gosh. Hang on. Hang on. Oh, where did it go? Hang on. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yes. So disordered parents will provoke competition or arguments between the children. Okay. What they do is they set one kid against the other. Even in adulthood, they will play one child against the other, and then they will sit back and eat the popcorn and watch the shit show. So if a narcissist is stirring the pot and trying to create conflict between two children in the same family, don't participate. Don't play. The best way to win is to not play. Don't play. Either don't go to the family gathering, have an excuse to leave early, just don't play, and if the other sibling calls up and tries to start stuff, you just go, you know what? I love you and I'm not going to do this. You might want to take a look at where this is coming from, and that's all you need to say. So don't play. Okay. So the narc is hoovering like a boss. I am committed to no contact, but I need some kind of release. Suggestions: write and burn, write and burn, write and burn, write and burn. And the things you want to write about are all the rotten things that your ex did to you. Remind yourself and make a list of deal breakers. Make a list of deal breakers. What will you not put up with? Abuse, disrespect, discarding, devaluing, discrediting, nastiness, name calling, hitting, kicking, spitting, biting, none of that shit. Fuck you. It's like write it out and then burn it, or with the discard or with the list of deal breakers. Keep that one, but write out the way they discarded you. Write out the way they disrespected you. Write it the fuck out and then trot it out to the barbecue. Read it out loud once like a Declaration of Independence and then burn it. Let it go. Don't let them get under your skin. Don't let them. Okay. Yes, smear campaigns can live forever. Absolutely. Especially if the family's got a matriarch or a patriarch that is disordered. Absolutely. How long can the quiet part of the cycle last? It feels like the narcissist is finally co-parenting appropriately. It makes me confused and causes me to doubt myself. Take a deep breath, sweetheart. It won't last long. So it's a cycle. Okay. The cycle of abuse really is a cycle. It's a circular, it's a clock. Okay. So up here is 12. And then you got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for a while they'll behave and they'll leave you alone because somehow they're getting their narcissistic needs met. Okay. They're getting their supply. Okay. But as soon as they don't get their way with whoever they're with, or something goes wrong, or they don't get what they want, then they'll blow up again. And it's like, I swear to God, it's like for some, it's every 2 weeks. For some, it's every 2 months. Don't trust the quiet. Don't ever trust the quiet. You must have constant vigilance, just like what was his name from Harry Potter? Constant vigilance. You must be constantly vigilant because they are never satisfied and the co-parenting is not going to last. Something will happen. They'll want to change the schedule. They'll demand more money. They'll change the pickup or the drop-off point. They'll, come unglued with something you did with the kids. It's not going to last. They can't stand quiet. They can't stand peace. That's not who they are, unfortunately. All right. Question. My daughter is the narcissist and has cut all her immediate family off except my mother. My mother is a huge enabler. So how do I tell my mom to stop enabling her? Well, honey, again, you can lead a horse to water. You can't make him cha-cha. Hang on just a second. Your mom is codependent and an enabler, and she's getting something out of it. And unless and until the pain outweighs the benefits, she's not going to stop. You can tell her all you want, but she's probably not going to stop. So just recognize that. Have her read The Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker. Tell her that she needs to stop enabling her. And, if she doesn't, that's her choice. And then it's your choice whether or not you continue a relationship with her or not. So, you can't control other people. You cannot. You can point things out. You can say, hey, I don't like this. You can say, hey, this is what's going on. I would appreciate it if you didn't, but it's her choice whether she does or doesn't. And then it's your choice whether or not you continue a relationship with her. So there that is. Holiday amnesia to suck you back in. Yep, absolutely. Ha! That's funny. I came up with a code so we can leave the family function early. Did you talk to Chris? That's our code. That's funny. How do I know if I'm BP or something? I feel my doctor doesn't understand trauma. My physician simply can't see the CPTSD. You should live better. That's not that simple. Honey, get a different, go to a therapist. Go to a therapist. Go figure out what's going on. It's really important. Okay. So going back to, we think that everybody's evil because of the media. Again, Mr. Rogers, I loved him. He was such a gentle soul. He was such a sweetheart. One of the things he always said is when scary things happen, you tell the kids to always look for the helpers. Look for who's helping the situation, not the horrible situation itself, but look to who's helping. So that shows you that there are good people in the world. And that's what you do. Okay. All right. Help, help, help. My husband is the scapegoat and he is continually fighting his narc mom. She idealizes his sister. Luckily, she lives far. What can I do? We have 2 kids. You go no contact. You can't fix her. She's not going to change. Is he willing to get help? Is the husband willing to finally confront that the mom is not healthy, and is he willing to let it go? Is he willing to put down that which makes him miserable? That's the question. If he is, great, get into trauma therapy. Absolutely. Okay. The sister lives far away. His parents will hold over his head and expect us to take care of them when they are elderly. So you go no contact, guys. You do not owe anybody anything. And I talked about this in one of my earlier videos this year on toxic parents. You do not owe it to them to take care of them. If people wanted to be taken care of when they were elderly, they shouldn't have acted like asswipes when they were younger. There you go. Will covert malignant narcissists ever try to hunt you down again, even though you've already won? I'm frightened because my narc is only able to corner me at church since I have no social med. Yeah, they're crazy. That's called obsessive X syndrome. And in that case, you get a restraining order against them. Absolutely. You don't put up with it. Okay. Narc Momster commented on her birthday dinner how she was the narcissistic victim, certainly to diffuse any attention to her narcissistic abuse of everyone. I laughed. Yeah, they do. Okay, so you would go to a laboratory. So like Arc Point Labs is what's here in Arizona. So any of the labs that do DNA swaps, that's all you're going to be doing, is that they should be able to do a test to show you what antidepressants work best with your body type. So there that is. Okay. Yes, the dress does look Victorian. That's part of the reason why I bought it. Okay. Oh, geez. Yeah, abusers will abuse dogs. They will abuse cats. They will abuse rabbits, gerbils, mice, rats, whatever the pet is. They know how much the pet means to the person, and that's why they intentionally kill it, or they intentionally harm it, or allow it to be harmed, or whatever. It is an intentional sadistic thing. That's when you're dealing with a malignant narcissist. So that's when you need to go absolutely no contact and probably a restraining order. Okay. All right, hang on. Why would my covert narc mom try to, stop it. Stop. Oh my God. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Hang on. Okay, there it is. Try her to turn me into her. Okay. Narcissists need mini me's. That's how they validate themselves. They need everybody around them to be exactly like them, and they do not tolerate differing opinions, differing likes, differing wants, differing needs, nothing. So, for example, if they love, this is going to be a really gross example because it's totally not true, chocolate-covered broccoli, they will demand that everybody love chocolate-covered broccoli. They do. And if you don't, they will sit there and go, but why? Why? Why don't you like it? You should like it. It's good for you. Da-da-da-da-da. Crazy, cray-cray. So they need everybody to be exactly like them. So oftentimes when a kid gets out of a dysfunctional family like that and they realize that they have been turned into the minion of a narcissist, it's called picking up fleas. You picked up fleas in order to behave like the narcissist so that you didn't get the living crap beaten out of you or abused or whatever. So you work on yourself. You work on yourself. You go smush those fleas. I've done videos on that. It's called Picking Up Fleas, I think is what the name of it is. So narcissistic fleas, what do I mean by picking up fleas? Go look at that video. You can squish them. It's just a learned behavior. If it's a learned behavior, it can be unlearned. And this is something I wanted to talk about, is that people often ask, well, is it nature or is it nurture? Is the narcissist a nature thing or a nurture thing? It is both. It is both. And all psychopaths are narcissists, but not all narcissists are psychopaths. So in the case of the psychopaths, it is absolutely nature. They are born without any sense of right and wrong. They are born without any sense of empathy. They cannot put themselves in somebody else's shoes. They don't have any sort of emotional connection. They get angry when somebody is emotional around them because they don't understand it and they don't know how to respond. So that is a nature thing, okay? There is some amount of trauma involved in the creation of a narcissist. However, not all narcissists are created out of trauma. Just want to make that perfectly clear. So if it was true that it was based in trauma, they would be able to actually have empathy and learn empathy. They don't learn empathy, no matter how much you try to teach them. They don't. Okay, nature, nurture. There is two prongs to this. There is nature and nurture. And there's more and more research coming out showing that not all narcissism is based in trauma. And the ones who are claiming that it is are the ones that are trying to find an excuse for their behavior and go, oh, feel sorry for me. Nope, sorry. I don't feel sorry for somebody who abuses over and over and over again, even though it's been pointed out to them. So done. All right. All right. So they want to turn the kids into them because they need somebody to validate who they are. They need somebody to be like, see, they're just exactly like me. You know, they're so fucking full of themselves. It's not even funny. So don't worry about it. Go work on the fleas. If you have empathy, if you can put yourself in somebody else's shoes, if you have any sort of moral compass, you're okay. Go work with a good therapist, undo the damage, squish the fleas, work on you, self-esteem. Workbook by Schiraldi, Diseased Pleased by Harriet Breaker, CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker. That last one is triggering. Be careful. Okay. All right. Okay, hang on. They are very great fakers. They can fake stuff, but they can't fake it for very long. All right. Okay, I have no idea how to make friends. Parents kept me isolated and have been very unsuccessful at it. Super awkward and uncomfortable. Yes. So when we have dysfunctional parents, they do keep the kids isolated. They make sure that they don't socialize. They make sure that they don't go play with friends because that kid is filling a function for that parent. That parent has given that kid a job, either to save the marriage, to be their personal counselor, to be their mini-me, something, or to be their scapegoat, their own personal whipping post. So they've given that child a job. So our mission, once we get away from them, is to reparent ourselves. So that means we do start learning how to socialize by going out and socializing. That's one way. The other thing of it is too, is you work through with a counselor, okay? You learn the skills of how to socialize. A great deal of socialization, honestly, is just listening. You know, you listen to people, you know, and you be a good listener and you talk, you ask them questions and hopefully they'll ask you questions and, you know, that kind of thing. And you learn that. So it's a learned behavior. So that means you have to learn it somewhere, which means probably getting with a really good therapist and working on that and going through the Inner Child Workbook by Catherine Taylor. That's a great book. So, you know, revisiting, where did you get stunted? Where did you need to work on this? And what is the fear? And then conquering that fear and then going out. That's really important. Okay. All right. Okay, just tuned in. Bless you, Chris. Every year I send my grown son money via my narc grandmother, my mom. It makes me ill. Should I not do it anymore? I can't tell you what to do, hun. If you want to give him money, give him money. If you don't, don't. Trust your gut. What does your gut tell you? What does your gut tell you? Follow that. Okay. So if everyone knew about narcissism, narcs are not flexible, guys. You're giving them too much credit. They do now. Psychopaths can be flexible because they're wily, but narcs are not. They follow a script. If you look at the things that they do to abuse, it is the same, no matter where in the world, no matter where the culture is, what the culture is, it follows a script and they just don't vary from it. So yeah, if everybody was onto their ways, they'd be out of business. I love it. Let's put them out of business. All right. All right. And the DSM updated and now recognized. Okay. No, the DSM is not updated yet. There is going to be the DSM 6 coming out, I believe, in 2020 question mark. It's due to be updated soon. So yeah, they don't. Okay, guys. The DSM is just a diagnostic manual. It is not current to what happens. The last time it was updated was in 20, I think 13. Okay, so that was like 5 or 6 years ago going on now. So it doesn't stay updated to what's going on in research or what's going on in the world or what counselors are seeing coming in their doors. So, and the DSM is a very political book because you've got, like I said, half of the APA and half the ACA want to get rid of all diagnoses because they don't want to hurt anybody's little feelings. So, CPTSD, all that means is complex, meaning it happens over and over and over again, post-traumatic stress disorder. So if your physician has not heard of it, it is because he's a physician. Physicians get exactly 3 to 4 weeks of training in mental health issues. That should scare the fuck out of most people. And they don't know. Okay. So I'm sorry, they need to educate themselves. How about they go take some classes? That would be my suggestion. Okay, so there that is. But no, CPTSD should be included because it absolutely is a real thing. And it is complex and it does happen over and over again. And it is specific to abuse. So yeah, they should educate themselves on domestic violence. There we go. All right. Okay. Are all personality disorder trauma-based or can some emerge out of nowhere? Yes, some can emerge out of nowhere. Like I said, antisocial personality disorder generally is because that person is missing a cog. They're missing the morality cog. They're missing the empathy cog. They don't have it. They can't feel it. They wouldn't know what moral was if it walked up and did the Watusi with them. So yeah, so there that is. BPD is definitely based in trauma though, but narcissism, I think there is a combination. I do. And the research is starting to support that. So yeah. My dad was a narc and his ex-girlfriend. My kids don't understand and I don't bother to explain. What I do say is I always refer to them as my childhood abusers. Yeah, well, yep, no contact with them. Yeah, absolutely. Doot. Okay. Whoa, this thing just went up again. All right, I'm going to be stopping in about 20 minutes. Okay, hang on. The only sibling, non-narcissist, my brother, has a mental disability, is dependent on my narc parents. He's a flying monkey. Makes me so sad. How do I keep in touch with him? You keep in touch with him, but you don't tell him anything important. So, you let him know you love him. You ask him how he's doing. Get him to talk about himself, but you share nothing that's important about you because it'll just go right back to the abusers. So that's how you do that. I'm in Arizona as well. Do you do therapy sessions that take insurance? I'm on Access. No, I don't accept insurance. I'm strictly cash, check, or credit card. I usually charge, well, I'm raising my rates, so I'm going to start charging $150 a session, but I do a sliding scale. So, and I can only counsel people that are in Arizona and residents of Arizona, and I request that you come in for the first session so that I can meet you in person and make sure that it's a good match, fill out all the paperwork, and then we can start rocking and rolling on stuff. Because I have some people be like, well, I just want to do, phone sessions. Well, that's nice. You have to come in first. So there we go. Okay. All right, hang on. I'm doing much better with my own inner peace and working with my family. My fiance has realized she was brought up in fear. She's 40, but very dependent on her mom. I've been torn to help her. Okay, well, again, if she's willing to get the help, encourage her to go see a therapist and work on self-esteem and boundaries and things like that. Fear is hard to break. It is, but not impossible. And there has to be a willingness to want to break it. So again, if she's not willing to set down what's making her miserable, you can't help her. So, but just suggest therapy. There you go. All right. I'm tired of giving up my own energy away, even to my fiance. I've been contemplating moving on from this relationship because she's so dependent on her mom. Is doing this best for my own growth? Honey, I can't tell you what to do. I can't. Only you can do that. Do a pro and a con list. Pro on one piece of paper, a con on another piece of paper, and you do them on completely 2 separate days because otherwise you're going to skew the results because that's what we do because we already know the answer to our question. We just don't like it. So do a pro and a con list and that'll give you your answer. Okay. Oh my goodness. Let's see. All right. Hang on. All right. Okay. I cannot make amends to my son for severe PTSD symptoms years ago. I don't know where he lives. I send money via my mom, but struggling with any guilt. Um, Honey, I can't answer that for you. You're going to have to decide how you want to handle it. You know, you could write and burn a letter. You could continue to send money. It's really up to you. I can't answer that for you. Okay. How do I know if traits I have learned are behavior or if they're my nature, as it were? Again, if you can change them and they stay changed, then it was learned behavior. Okay. Narcissists don't ever question. They think they're 110% right all the fucking time. And they've never done anything wrong in their entire lives. And they're not interested in changing because they don't think they have anything to change. So if you're willing to work on yourself, then it's just traits of, and you can work on it. Okay. Is it equally as dangerous to tell an overt and a vulnerable narcissist that you think they are a narcissist? Yes! You don't tell them. You just don't. They don't care. And oftentimes, when you tell a narcissist that they are a narcissist, they will proudly proclaim that they are a narcissist because they don't understand it. Okay? So, yeah, you can't fix them, guys. You cannot fix them because you did not break them. You cannot fix them. It's not your job. Okay. All right. I am losing my voice. I am going to call it good for today. Next week, I want to talk more about resolutions and hoovers and all of that stuff. I would like to take more questions. So you guys just write in your questions next week. That would be great. I want to talk more about nature and nurture, NPD, BPD, and harmful behavior, that type of thing. So I want to do that. So anyway, have a Merry Christmas, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Please take very good care of yourselves. This time of year is super important. Drink enough water, eat the right kinds of foods if you can. Although it's hard because there's a lot of candies and chocolates out there. So take good care of yourselves. Do self-care. This is what's really important. You want to avoid a Hoover? Make sure you write down the deal breakers. Make sure you remind yourself of how they treated you, why you broke up in the first place. Don't fall for the Hoover. Don't fall for the Hoover. Don't fall for the Hoover. Did I mention don't fall for the Hoover with a side of don't fall for the Hoover and don't fucking fall for the Hoover? All right, guys. Love you. Have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Bye. Merry Christmas.